Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the podcast. We appreciate tuning in. I'm your co-host, M to Dave. I'm here with Tom,
What's up,
Rio,
brother?
and Zyphox.
What's up, everybody?
Zyphox, I want to thank you for the
Zyphox,
codes
are you
you hit
there?
me up with. I want to thank you for that.
Well, let's get started. Beta.
Wait, we don't even know if Zyphox is here.
I'm here.
Zyphox here.
He's here. He's here.
Okay,
He's here.
okay.
So the beta ends in about, I guess, 6-7 hours. So we just want to give our thoughts and opinions, our feedback of what's going on. For me personally, I want to focus less about like the characters. Obviously this is an online beta. I had, think any balance issue, I don't think is really that important at this point. Not that there are any balance issues, but let me start with
Just
Rio.
nerf Baraka, that's it.
Rio, comments. Go ahead.
Okay, I think this game has a lot of potential. It's very good. It's a very fun game. I think the 3 characters showcased in the stress test are all good characters. That's my opinion on it so far.
Tom.
I think this game hits it off on many levels. For one, before I'm even concerned with the characters and who's good, who's bad, or how the game plays, is the game enjoyable in general? The game has a high enjoyment level. I haven't had fun like this in a Mortal Kombat game since like MK Deadly Alliance. It's just pure fun. To really just get into the characters and just how the flow of the game works, it's all just highly enjoyable, and it gives you a high sense of satisfaction for the payouts in this game. So I really think this game, the characters they used, great examples to kind of have people fill out the game. And I think even though it's the mechanics have changed some, and since obviously we have this, so obviously we know that things have changed a little bit, like Ed Boon tweeted out some things. I think this game is on the right track to being probably one of the better, if not the best MK game they've ever made.
Zyphox.
I'm gonna go and agree exactly what Bill Menudis, aka Tom Brady, said. Because listen, I was on this like boat before the game came out, where you know what? This game, like, it looks good. Like, it looks good, but will it play good? Like, I was always like, even before like we even got like gameplays, like, I think it's gonna be closer to Injustice 2, guys. That I was that guy. And playing it yesterday and today, I'd say it's gonna be there. Like, as long as they like listen to the community, which they're doing, and keeping the formula, like how they're going about everything right now, it's going to be, not even it can be, it's going to be the best Mortal Kombat they've ever made. Like, I have no doubt. Like, they literally hit it out of the park.
Before we get into, the specific gameplay elements, new ones, let's kind of talk about what what this stress test was really about. What do you guys think about the online? Have you encountered any lag or any kind of issues, that may be concerning when the actual game comes out? Tom?
Let me say this.
Go ahead, Rio. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, do you want Tom to go first?
Yeah, Tom, let's go with you.
Repeat it again. Go ahead. You broke out for a second for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, like, obviously, the point of this whole test, is the online gameplay. To see whether there's any lag. Have you encountered any lag or anything that might concern you?
I'm going to be honest with you. Outside from a few isolated cases, I would forget I was even playing online sometimes. It's that good to where I had to stop and be like, I'm on the internet, and I don't even notice it. Like, it's 10 times better than anything Injustice or late MKX could have offered. I think that this game and NetherRealm Studios has perfected something, and I think they have the best netcode of any fighting game developer by a long shot.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rio?
Let me say this. I've been playing the beta all weekend on Wi-Fi. I'm playing on Wi-Fi. I'm not wired. I'm playing on Wi-Fi. I'm streaming. There's multiple people here using the internet. And I'm playing other people that are on Wi-Fi from the West Coast and so on. And there's barely any lag. Like, out of all the matches I played this weekend, I think there was only like 1 or 2 games where there was a couple spikes here and there. But aside from that, the netcode is phenomenal. It's very, very, very good.
Zyphox, is there anything you want to add about the online gameplay?
Dude, online is so important. If you think about all the the very top players, like today, all were bred from 2016 MKX, after GGPO, netcode. Can you imagine all the new MK11 top players that we're gonna get with this netcode? You're no longer gonna have this crazy ass skill gap going offline. It's it. I know that we're passionate about offline scenes and all that, but dude, it's that good. Just playing.
You're
this
gonna have to
little-
grind online now to get good.
Exactly, which is a
And-
godsend for a lot of people. Like me, for example, I have a full-time job and I got a lot of shit going on. I don't even know if I'll be able to make it my local sometimes, So
Yeah, and the fact that NRS is also they're putting a matchmaking system in a serious rank mode. It's gonna be
oh my god,
the go-to mode to get to level up. Everyone's gonna be able to get really good at the game now.
Yeah, I think it should be stressed again what Tom said. Tekken obviously is a great game, but the online is ass. Street Fighter V has major issues online. So really NRS is most definitely has figured out this netcode thing, because their games, even though Injustice 2 and MKX were not perfect, it's so much better really than anything that I've seen from the other games.
This is the first time I've ever played any kind of NetherRealm game, and I would forget that I was online. I mean, it's that good. So
Yeah, let's hope it stays like this, during when the actual game gets released.
yeah,
But let me ask you guys, I don't want to talk too much about the characters, because as you know, it's not really the focus of this test. That's what the beta is, in a couple, 2.5
Correct.
weeks, whatever. Yeah. But I guess if there are any concerns at all, I guess the most complained thing that I've seen, well, actually two things. One, Skarlet zoning. Two, Scorpion's EX teleport or amplified teleport.
Can I go first on this, Dave?
Yeah, please.
And 3, Baraka's damage.
Before
Yeah, I
I
guess
even,
Baraka's damage. You can have
before
that.
I even cover those two things, it's a bigger issue, and we might as well tackle these two things in one so we don't sound redundant. That's an example of the variation system. I find it so that I'm not, every variation has the same thing. Every Skarlet's going to have this the stand up, the teleport, etc. Every Scorpion's going to have Misery Blade. Every is going to have Gutted. The game may come out and no variation gets, because if one gets gutted, the other two are useless in a lot of ways, or not useless, but not even close to as good. Or if they tone gutted down, maybe. Misery Blade, I don't know. And it's not the thing of, well, as far as if one character is going to be too strong or not, because it's just a beta. It's just that it just goes back to, what are we playing? I mean, even if the beta comes out and it's like this, clearly in tournament, even if this wasn't a stress test, how are these characters actually going to play? There's no way every Scorpion variation has misery. Impossible. There's no way every Baraka variation gets gutted. Maybe, but they would all play the same then, right? Right? Every Scorpion variation will play the same then. And the same goes for Skarlet. And to me, it's not a matter of if a character is too strong or if teleports. I mean, there are little irritating things. It's kind of sketchy to punish the teleport. Scorpion's teleport, something shouldn't be surprise. It's unsafe, or he got you. Did the 2 hits? Shouldn't be like that. Maybe when we ever get to the issue of balance, you maybe make the first hit a high or whatever it may be. But it's just kind of hard to say, because these people are equipping, all of us are equipping all the best stuff to make kind of one really, really powerful variation. It's almost like we completely ignored the option of 3 variations and say, we'll just make our own one variation that's super, super strong. And it's it's kind of that's my only real concern. Not so much balancing issues, because God knows how much has changed. We can't possibly tell about Skarlet zoning or Scorpion's teleport, because I mean the game has obviously changed several times since from whatever we got. It's obviously different, but it's just kind of stuck on that. How are they going to play it? Are we going to get the beta and it's like, Sub-Zero's ice clones in? And I'm like, not that, haha, Tom ice clones, but okay, it's there, it's available to me. But we have no set in stone variations. Should I equip it? Should I not equip it? Should we equip Cabal's dash canceling? Should he not? Like, how do we know what to play? How do we have a better understanding of what we're going to be fighting against? And I understand this wasn't the point of the stress test. And King Hippo, I know you're hearing this and you're sharpening your claws to go on your podcast and say whatever about me being negative, even though I'm not. I'm just saying it's just human nature. I understand the point of this was the online. I understand the variation, the balance, nothing to do with this. But I can't help as a fighting game player. I want to know how it's going to play because that's just how I'm wired. And that's the only thing that leaves me curious. Nothing about the game or the balance I care about right now because I've been in test before at NetherRealm, and I understand how that works and how these things change. And how you're playing an old bill and you go to Paulo's office and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's gone." And meanwhile we just spent an hour like on the whiteboard discussing how to fix it, and Paulo's like, "Oh man, I did that last night." It's not that anymore. But I just want to know. That's the last thing that I think we're all the most curious about. And I think we want to find this out before April 23rd. How does the variation system work? Because it's not like we're just whatever. We haven't heard a word out of it. No one has said anything. No one has told us about it. And I think that's the last piece to this puzzle on how this game is going to be.
Like competitive, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, I think you literally nailed it, and that's why when Dab came here, when was it? Last month, he went on his rant and threw a tantrum. I thought it was a well-made argument, but Zyphox and Rio, do you have anything to say about this?
Well, regarding the three characters, I'm kind of like I like how they are. They all play very different from each other. Like Baraka, if you have gutted, is high damaging character. He can confirm. He can take half your life using his crushing blows and everything. You can also make him into a mixed machine character. You can give him command grabs and lows, so he has a bunch of 50-50s and command throws, and he's got tick throws everywhere. Skarlet's she kind of slows the game down. She slows the pace. She can zone you out. She's a little bit like Freddy from MK9. She has full screen frame traps with her projectiles, which are cool. And then Scorpion has, a bunch of mind games. You can equip Misery Blade. You can do cancels. You can go overhead, low, teleport cancels, all that stuff. So I like how the characters all play differently. I think they did a good job with the character design.
Zyphox, do you have anything to say on this matter?
I really like how they chose the three characters that they're gonna do for the stress test as like all like very different type of characters. But I mean, other than that, I pretty much go with like what Tom and Rio were saying.
All right, let's and I think this is really the I guess the elephant in the room is what would you like to see changed or improved? Not in terms of the characters. I think that's fruitless to discuss at the moment, but in terms of like the general gameplay aspects. There was a big post made by Sonifox. He made some suggestions which I assume are going to have some type of effect with what NRS does. Before I even get into that, Tom, let's start with you. Is there anything you would like to see change in terms of general gameplay aspects?
Bdon hit on this earlier, so just so people, when they listen to this, they don't think there's Tom complaining about it. And I think Rio can weigh in on this as well. Bdon, he's one of you guys, players.
Well, Bdon's in here.
Yeah. Oh, Bdon's here. No, he left.
No, he's in here.
Oh well, he hit on this earlier, and I just want to add to his point. You guys are not here to hear it, but he was talking about how irritating it was with the current pace of this game to deal with people jumping off that corner interactable. And it's kind of like it's a footsie game. It's a neutral game. He said his exact words were, his words, not mine, King Hippo, just so you know. You track Skarlet all the way down to the corner. You out neutral her there, and then she's jumping off with a move that's plus 20 or plus 16 or 14, whatever it is, right? And it's like in a neutral heavy game, MKX and Injustice, that's fine. They're both kind of crazy, But in a more neutral heavy game, there's actually no place for that. There's just not, and besides, and Rio, I think you can weigh in on that as well. You said it was kind of, but
Here's the thing: the interactable we're talking about is the wall dive kick interactable. You guys probably know what we're talking about. It's been in the past 3 NRS games, same exact animation. It's almost similar block data in all of them. They're always basically you climb up the wall. It's on Shang Tsung Island on the right. You go to it, you climb up on the wall, and you come down with a dive kick. It's overhead. It's plus 20, so you get offense afterwards. Here's the thing with interactables. I don't mind them being in the game. I like how they're all one use only. I think that's cool for them. But I think that should be a general rule for every interactable. I think they should all be one use. No matter what interactable it is, you do one and that's it. So whatever they're going to need to think of something to make it so the wall dive kick on Shang Tsung's island is one use only. I'm not sure how they could do that. Maybe they can put like a wooden plank or something where the character jumps on to go to the wall and then it breaks and they do the dive kick and then you can't use it again. Something so that way all interactables are one-time use, but they're very powerful if you use it at the right time because they can get you out of the corner. Yeah. Just like on Sonya's stage, the military base, on the right side there's an interactable and it's good because if you hit them with it, when you grab them and slam their head for the vehicle, it switches position. So now they're in the corner now, similar to that. So it's very good. Interactable there should be some thought behind it. Instead of that dive kick always being there to use 24/7 if you have one defensive bar.
I agree. And there's a couple of things I want to hit on as far as other aspects. I hear people talking about the dashing should be better. Ed Boon did tweet that the walking is a little faster, correct? He tweeted out that the walking is faster.
Yeah. The movement
I think both dashing and walking.
I don't think he really said walking. I think he meant both.
Okay, well, either way, I don't think dashing should be touched too much. Because I don't think dash has a big spot in this game. And if you make dashing too good, it ruins the flow of the game. I don't think anybody who loves neutral really wants a dash in the game so that you can, I got in there real quick. You didn't expect that, did you? I don't think that has any place in this game. The walking felt great. The neutral in the game felt great. The matches were super fun. So to speed the walking up and maybe touch the dashes a little bit so that maybe if you knock someone far away, you can kind of close space a little bit to keep your advantage. Maybe, but I wouldn't touch the dashing too much. I would be more focused on the walking. And the fatal blow is, I think, what people want to complain about. Well, not complain, but talk about most. The fatal blow mechanic in which it's safe and it comes back. So there's really no risk to it. Because like Rio was saying, I'm on Discord with Rio and Rio's playing somebody, he has like a fatal blow. All right, I got 10 seconds before he can do it again. And then it comes back and so on and so forth. So I think something should be done with fatal blow. If you want to keep it safe, nothing wrong with it being safe, but if you want to keep it safe, a few things should happen. Like maybe you don't get it for the rest of it doesn't come back that round. Like the only next time you can use it is if you're low again in the next round. Or it drains your full defense meter and it doesn't come back until your defense meter comes. I don't know, some kind of idea. If you want to keep it safe. Otherwise, you can do none of that. You can get it back, you can keep everything and make it full combo punishable on block. But to make it safe and have it come back so quickly. And again, this is just not even a beta. It's an online stress test. The gameplay has 0.0 to do with this. And it's not even like something I was thinking about. But since we're doing a podcast and I'm on this show and this is a topic, I figured I would weigh in on it. Go ahead.
Here's the thing of the walking and the dashing. I don't mind them giving a dashing or walking buff. But I don't think they should steroid buff the dashing to the point where that's how you want to move over walking. I think the walking should be the main part of the movement. And if they want to make the walking faster and buff up the dashing, that's fine. I just don't want the dashing to replace how you move in neutral over the walking. Because that would, like I said, it would disrupt the flow and then you would have people dashing. It would be dash, dash, jump. It would pretty much change how the game is played right now. As far as the movement, I think I agree with Tom with the fatal blows. I think there should be some form of risk with them. A lot of them recover very quickly on whiff. They're extremely safe on block. There's almost literally no risk to beating them. Like what you have to do is you basically have to preemptively read that they're going to do it and then do a jump in, and half of the time it anti-airs you anyway. So I would like to see them be unsafe on block, or maybe change it up. Like some of them could be high but be safe on block, so you have to duck to punish those on a read. Or if they're going to be a mid, you can block it and then punish it. It'd be nice if they put some risk to them, because right now they're just, like I said, there's pretty much no risk in using it, and then they're very devastating moves. You can hit somebody, then you get a knockdown, you take like 40%, you can pretty much win a round off hitting somebody with that. Seeing it happen like 4 times per round is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I have even a better idea. I don't know.
Oh, wait, hold on. I just want to touch on one more thing. Have you guys messed around with the flawless blocking into the up launchers?
I haven't.
You know how you can flawless block a move? Alright, so basically this game has a flawless block mechanic where you have a 3-frame window to block an attack. If you do it properly, you recover 4 frames faster. So if a move's -4 for your opponent and you flawless block, it becomes -8 and so on. Basically, when you flawless block a move, you can use your 1 bar from your defense and 1 bar from your offense to do an up 3, which is a launcher. You counter them with a launcher and you launch it for a combo.
Up 3 is the
Yeah, I mean up 2. Up 2 is the launcher. And then you have up 3, which is a fast mid punish. I think the up 2 launcher is a little too good for that. What I think they should do, because right now it doesn't make any sense. Why does the mid reversal cost 1 offensive, 1 defense, but the launcher one that's just as good and get a full combo off costs 1 bar and 1 defense? The launcher reversal, a flawless block, should cost 2 defense and 2 offense because it's very powerful.
Well,
The other one should stay 1 bar each. That's the second thing I think that they should look into and maybe do.
I mean, I was literally going right in that same alley with my proposal on how they fix that breakaway, which is basically remove it entirely, give us back breakers, but take all of your resources when you do so. I'm talking about you need full 2 bars of offense and defense.
I don't agree with that.
Think about it for a second.
Breakers need to stay. No, but breakers are a bad mechanic. They need to stay gone. And the rest is going. They're going through the right path. Breakers I thought they were horrendous game design.
Really?
It promotes awful gameplay. How many times have you seen a Molina player just be like, "I'm gonna ball roll because I'll just break. Why not?"
Dude,
There's no risk into
two
doing
bars
things.
of you have to first of all you have to have both of them. If you have 2 offensive, 2 defensive meters, you're probably not even playing super like optimal anyway. So you're more predictable in defense and like you're gonna take a risk here because you have a breaker because you have 2 bars and 2 of each. That's just the way I'm thinking of it. In the same way that you're saying that to do a flawless block with the up 2 launcher, you can take a risk knowing that, well, I can do this because he doesn't even have 2 bars of fucking offensive meter to even launch me, so might as well go for it. It's the same concept. He needs 2 of each to launch you, like from your proposal, to launch you off of a flawless block into up 2. I'm just saying, not even necessarily it has to be a breaker. Do something like just make it neutral because like we just discussed, you can literally fall out of a spear combo, go make a sandwich, eat it, and make another sandwich, come back and you can still fucking punish that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That spear is out there from like the duration of this fucking stress test. Like that shit is fucking bad. So you break away and all of a sudden like, dude, your kids are in fucking high school now. Like, bro, I'm not trying to be like exaggeration like central here. That shit is a long ass time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
I'm not a fan of breaker. I think it's bad game design. If you make a punish, you should eat your damage.
Then.
You shouldn't
like,
be able
break away and like it's like a fucking like
no, see the breakaway mechanic is not really bad. Like it has potential. They just need to balance it a bit better. But it's miles ahead of the breaker. The breaker system is garbage.
Like the breaker system.
You realize you realize they came up with the breaker back in like Deception 20 years ago, right? Like that idea needs to die out. It's bad.
All right, so but
it's
like,
really not
now
good.
It's like it's even worse than a breaker. It's like imagine if Cyrax, remember the Cyrax breaking he still combos you? Like that's essentially the reverse.
No, yeah, I understand. There's some awful situations you can do it, but at the same time, like Tom said, if you make the read that they're gonna break away and you bait them, they can potentially fall onto the ground next to your face, and then they have nothing to do besides from delay wake up. Like they have no defensive options.
Okay, so in that same aspect, imagine you can just bait the breaker, and something I don't know, like.
Look, we've been playing games for years. We know how you bait breakers. You either do a shitty unbreakable combo, or you throw them. Where most of the times it's better just to get them off their damn resource because then they're gonna have it again.
Exactly. But this resource is like, first of all, 2 bars of each. You're gonna be fucking the sitting duck for 20 seconds or however long it takes. And matter of fact, they could even sorry, whoa. Hey, they could even go.
If this game is supposed to be about neutral, if you fuck up, you should not be able to just be like, "Oh, I'm just gonna break her." You should.
That's exactly what a breakaway is. Oh, I fucked up. Guess
No, but a
what?
breakaway
I'ma
isn't really
punish
like
you
that
now
because
you tried to spear in your combo. Hello.
But that's not necessarily the same thing because
It's
the
worse.
breakaway has more counterplay than the breaker, and in order to breakaway, you have to be in the air.
All right.
Breaker, you could break regardless of where you are.
All right. Fair enough. What I'm gonna say though is imagine, like, you'd have to like the extra restriction on breaking is that your defensive meters are first to come through and then your offensive meter, so they don't even regenerate at the same time. Like, make that shit like once a game or something, like theoretic wise. Like, I don't know.
If they made breakaway like crushing blow, where you only get to use it once a game, that could be fine, I guess, to balance it.
No,
But either doing something like that or making it have more of a penalty,
just not
like
have
making
that
the
kind of
defensive bar
mechanic
come
in the
back.
game at all. Like, Street Fighter doesn't need that shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a fan of breaker or breakaway. I think they're dumb mechanics. Like, there shouldn't be. If you get hit and someone's comboing you, you shouldn't have an option to escape. You should eat the damage because you messed up. I'm all for that. But they have the breakaway in the game, so we have to figure out a way how they can make it better.
It's not like they could just remove it. I don't know.
How about that idea?
They're not going to do that.
I
They
don't
already
think
spent
they
so much
will.
time designing it and
I don't
programming
think they
it.
will
They're
remove it. I don't
They
think that's
won't.
gonna-
maybe limit it to once per match, or maybe just make the penalty really large. Like you use it and your
I
defense
think
bar is gone
once
for
I
20
think
seconds.
once per round, I think that would be okay. But if you're like breaking 3-4 times, that's just getting ridiculous. Like that's apparently what's going on right now, and you can't have that. But if once a round, maybe you do it, the other guy does it. You get one, I guess, free card. That's fine. But if you're like
Yeah, you get
breaking,
one breakaway free card every round, which could be fun.
yeah, but
If
if
you
you
bait it, they're fucked.
I know, but if you're like breaking 3 or 4 times like come on, like that's I think getting a little bit ridiculous right now. That's my. But I do want to say that about the flawless block thing. My issue is not the reward; it's the fact that you can apparently during certain strings just fucking just mash the block button, and it will come out at the right time. So that kind of defeats the whole purpose of that gameplay mechanic.
Yeah,
If
well,
we
that's
could just
because how it's
mash,
designed.
why are we calling it flawless blocking? We
I've
might
gotten
have
it by
called
accident.
mash blocking. What's
I've
that?
gotten
I've done it
I've
by
gotten
accident
a lot
too.
by accident, like a lot to where something that's supposed to be flawless block and hard to execute shouldn't be coming out so much by accident.
But so how do we? I think again, considering what you get, and I've seen certain posts and tests, you might pretty much comparing it to like a armor move because if people are doing strings on you and you're just mashing, you pretty much can launch them. So it's kind of like an armor move. And again, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of this element because if I can just mash, like that's not. At least in my opinion, let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Is this should be something like if I make the right read, and everybody's like, "Oh wow, he just did that! I can't believe it." It shouldn't be something. Okay, yeah, he just smashed. That's how he got it. Do you understand the difference? Like it's supposed to be something special.
Yeah,
That's something
restricted
you
timing to it.
Yeah, not something you fucking mash, and so you can say, "Oh yeah, I mashed it. That's how I punished you because you did, your best string." I don't think that's how it should work. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the best new mechanic in the game. It has so much potential, but I don't know how they could get rid of the mashing. Like maybe you can have to commit more read to it. Maybe if they made it so you have to press block and flip stance at the same time. But if you do that, flip stance will override the block part. So if you get caught trying to false block, you get bodied. I don't know how they could do it, to be honest.
Well, this was literally Sonic Fox's number one complaint about this game. Again, and I usually disagree with him, but this is, I think, something that needs to be addressed.
I mean, I think false block is great. The only thing that's kind of broken about it is the fact that you can launch people from it by using the up to launcher.
I know, but do you
False
want
block it
people
up to?
mashing? That's so stupid. Like, what are we playing here? Like, you want people mashing block?
It should never have an option select.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
should be an option.
It
Like,
should
but
be
that's
like-
the thing. How would you make it?
flawless
The way
block
to
option
trigger it.
select?
The way you have to trigger it is it's a slippery slope because it's literally done by just tapping block at the right time. They need to maybe add another button to it. Maybe you have to press block and flip
Or
stance
maybe
at
make it
the
a
same
one frame
time.
window.
No, because if you make it, I mean, I don't know. Because then if it's one frame, people are not going to try to do it. 'cause
You,
they're gonna be
Rio,
like,
who
it's
did
too
a
hard.
podcast about execution, are telling it's
Sorry.
But then no, because then look, that would be the same thing. You'd still be able to OS it. What do you mean that wouldn't change anything? you would still be able to mash it.
Well,
There's no risk.
I think they gotta get rid of the mashing and whatever the option select
the
is.
option select.
Again, this is hard.
What if they made it so you have to press flip stance and block to do it at the same time? But if you do it at the same time to execute a flawless block, if you do it properly to get it to work, but you don't block anything, your character does a flip stance.
Wait,
So someone
Wait,
could
wait,
bait
wait,
you
wait,
and then
What
punish
is the
you.
flip stance button again? What is it?
Flip stance is L2, so you'd have
Well,
to press block and L2.
that interferes with your fucking.
Below.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Okay, so a different button then.
I don't know.
Maybe flip stance and standing 4.
No,
you have to press
block and
standing 4.
No, block and amplify. Block and R1.
No, because then when you press amplify, nothing comes out, so you're not baiting anything. You're just sitting there blocking. Where's the risk?
Wait,
if you make it a flip stance. Sorry, by the way, I was helping my dad with a headlight bulb, so sorry about not being here earlier. But if you make it a flip stance and they purposely make it so you can they make all the strings so if they do it so you can at the end you can not finish the string and then they'll do the flip stance. You see the flip stance and you just punish them. And they should
Exactly,
just
that's
make
what I'm saying.
it
It's
so
just kind of
only
risk.
certain strings have those gaps where you can do the gap or not. Like do the string with the gap or not do it.
Yeah.
And then it's a 50-50 at that point. So you have to guess whether you should do it or
Well,
not.
right now you can't do the flip stance idea because they were right. Actually, it will come out. So maybe they have to do it if you have to press block and 4 to do it. So if you mess up, a standing 4 will come out and then you'll die and be whiff punished. They could do something like that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the whole OS thing is stupid. If you're gonna flawless block and you're that hard on committing to it, you should be kind of blown up for going for something that you were wrong about.
It's true.
Yeah.
And also, they could tone it down too by just making it so you can only up 3 instead of up 2 because you get a full
Yeah,
combo.
well, I mean, I don't mind the reversal up 3. I think that's cool, but they need to make it. It should not cost the same resource as the mid reversal. The mid reversal costs 1 defense, 1 offense. The mid launcher reversal costs 1 bar of each. Also, that makes no sense. The launcher reversal should cost 2 offense and 2 defense because it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Well,
are you talking just?
It should
because-
cost all your guns if you're hitting with that, because that's game changing right there. You're literally countering a string into a full combo.
Are you talking
Should
about just
cost
in terms
everything
of
you
flawless
have.
block?
yeah.
No, when you know how you do a false block and then you do the up
Yeah.
3 or up 1, it
Up
costs
2.
1 defense, 1 offense to do.
Yeah.
I feel like leave the mid reversal 1 offense and 1 defense, but up the one where you do the launcher to be 2 offense and 2 defense because it's way better. You're getting a combo.
Yeah. Or like 2 attack and 1 defense. I could see
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Just it needs to cost more.
I could definitely see something like that.
Well, okay. For example, let me bring this to the attention. What would happen if a character could flawless block without using any of those resources, but still get a launching combo, aka Baraka, and do even more damage than you would get from an up 2 anyway? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, Scorpion, he could do 1-1 teleport into like a combo, or 1-1 spear into a combo. Skarlet doesn't really get anything at all in this build right now. From what I understand, 1-1 into
Can
Siphon.
you do launcher 2-1-2 4-4 into Siphon? I'm pretty sure it's a B&B.
Wait. Say that one more time.
You launch them, then you do 2-1-2 4-4 Siphon.
Okay, but that's up 2. Like, I'm talking about like flaws blocking regular without even using up 2 and punishing certain strings. At least.
Oh, you mean regular floss block?
Yeah, like, do all moves turn into like 4 frames of extra recovery?
Yeah, every move. So if you block a move that's -7 to block and you floss block it, you recover 4 frames faster, so the move becomes -11 on the floss block.
Oh, okay. So,
So
if you
some
flawless
characters
block,
just have better punishes than others.
yeah, if you flawless blocked Baraka's forward 4-4, right? For example, let's just say
Hmm.
you're a god. You, instead of using up 2 and use 2-3 theoretical bars, it becomes -11.
Yes, you could punish it
get
without
a
using meter.
full combo for
You get a crushing below 50%.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you didn't even have to really use like.
But the thing is, you can't floss block 4-4-4 because you can't floss block during jailed strings. You have to be entering block for it to work. You can't OS on jailing
Hey,
strings.
real
can't-
quick, it's actually wrong.
You
Real
have to
quick.
be entering block.
Wait.
You have to be entering block.
No, that's wrong.
For it to
Hold
work.
on, real quick. Let me just correct that because God, King Hippo's probably salivating. You know, to hear that.
Just follow the block, bro.
No, flawless block doesn't just add X amount of frames. You can't go by the frame data.
No, it doesn't add frames. It makes you recover faster. The person blocking recovers 4
you
frames.
can't look
faster.
at a move and say, "Oh, block this," because there are moves that are plus. And what I mean is, you can't add their block data in your recovery. It's based on how the move itself recovers. Like a move could be +3, and
like 30 frames of recovery.
yeah, and you get a full combo, and a move could be -2, and you can't punish it at all. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
It's based on like
Yeah, that's why up 3 is really good
like
because
a down jab.
it's instant
You flawless
reversals.
block it, won't get punished. And a down jab is minus, right? But a move that's like +5, like Skarlet's kick, would be a full combo punish. One move is minus, one move is plus, but the minus move is safe, and the plus move is based on how the recovery. It's almost like you're recovering.
But see,
not as
that
the
works
move whiffed,
for
but kind of like the move whiffed completely.
Yeah.
that works when you cancel move into the up 2 or up 3 though. It doesn't work when you let go block normally.
Yeah, I
Correct.
think
That's how it works.
Yeah,
so
it's-
yeah,
Correct.
you're right on that.
it's
But
kind of like
what I'm basically trying to correct Zyphox what he said because he says why someone false block Baraka's forward 4-4. You can't do that because if there's no opening in the string or attack for you to enter block, you can't do that.
But
So
okay.
you can't false block Baraka second 4-4.
You know what I mean? By
Okay.
the frame,
It's
you can
pointless.
look at the frame data, the recovery, and you say, okay, you can't
Yeah.
recover out of block in time to full combo it like with normals or whatever.
Yeah, no, but you physically cannot flawless block the second part unless you make the first part
Correct.
whiff. On block, you just can't do it.
Yeah,
Even
Because
if
you
you
have to
even if
be
you false
entering
block
block.
the first knee.
No, you can't do it the second
you
part.
can't double false block.
Yeah, you can't. You have to be entering block only.
Yeah. So basically,
You can't be blocking a jailing 3-hit string and then the last hit just do
Yeah.
block again.
but like if you would look at like the like however many frames you're up to or up are, you would look at their frame data on their recovery, and basically if the move recovery is enough, then you can flawless block and full combo it. If the move recovery like a down jab is not enough, even if you flawless block it, you can't. That's pretty much it. You can't look at it and say, well, if a move is minus, and I add this amount of frames to it, I should be able to get it. You
Yeah.
can't. It's not additive like that. It's just based on their recovery.
yeah, I don't know.
It's really an amazing mechanic though. It's such a good mechanic. It's gonna add so much depth
But
to the
it-
game. They just need to be careful with it because the whole reversal launchers causing 1 bar each I think it's too little resource for how strong it is. And the whole OS blocking, like I said, there needs to be some kind of call out when you read somebody trying to do it. Either make blocking and 4 press at the same time to do it, so if they do it, the 4 will come out instead of the block. I don't know, some kind of way to bait it out to punish them.
No, I think that's a fair point. It's just, I mean, there are a couple of solutions, to this dilemma. Whether you wanna make, keep up 3 the same, I guess, because this gives you advantage, and you wanna increase the resources for up 2. But I
There's
think
the
the
launcher,
way,
one of them is in the launcher.
again, who knows what they're thinking? But I mean, developers. It just depends. Because the way I look at flawless block, this should be something. If you make the right read, you can wow the crowd. You get rewarded. With the read.
Exactly,
But
and
it's
call them out. Like
yeah.
shit, that would be hype.
exactly. It would be something hype that.
Because right now the game's very read based, and adding more layers to that to counter some of these things with reads is
Yeah, I
what
know,
the
but,
game, what they want the game to be. Like it'll be
Exactly,
It'll be
but if
amazing.
people just mashing block and then getting flawless block, every single time, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having.
Yeah, that defeats the whole purpose of the game that they're trying to make.
Exactly. So they
'Cause
gotta.
this game has so much potential right now. It's at its base foundation, it's a very good game.
And for all we know, a lot of the stuff might already be fixed for the beta coming up in a couple of weeks. So we don't really.
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
but
Yeah, we have to keep in mind this is an old build,
so-
but we're just going off by this build because this
yeah,
is the game we've
exactly.
been playing
So
for the past
it's-
couple of days.
yeah, it's definitely something that I think needs to be looked at. I also want to talk about thoughts on custom variations and preset variations. I think, when I was playing Tom, and I'm like, dude, I forgot what move I put. It was just seemed kind of like frustrating. I'm sure Tom felt the same. It was like, dude, I don't know what moves I have. Like, I don't know what moves I even added. And I think Tom already touched upon this already. If you can, Tom, just kind of talk again about, about the custom, how that's gonna, like the moves that you select, how that might interfere with, like the preset variations.
Well, you know what it reminds me of is remember MK Armageddon, like the character
Yeah, Armageddon.
creator? Like those moves that like they
How could
weren't
I
ever
forget?
balanced. Dude, I remember how I was like, yo, we should fucking like NRS should make like another creative fighter type of shit. They're literally approaching that with these like
It's very close. Right now, it's create a variation,
Yeah.
but next it's gonna be create an
One
actual
second,
character
if I
from
keep
scratch.
going, I'll
Yeah.
weigh on. Like,
All right.
I think specifically the creative variation system needs a couple tweaks like in terms of the UI. I think you should be able to like in the menu see how the move is like a little like cinematic, like a little video like while you're selecting it just for the new players cuz like they're going to be like reading this and they're going to be like what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
and they
because the
can't
blood
even
lunge doesn't even mention that blood lunge is a command grab in the
Yeah, there's a lot of
in the
stuff.
menu screen.
It doesn't mention that Skarlet's, the cloud mist where she puts around her gets rid of her down back 4 zoning tool. There's a lot of stuff that they need to add.
Zyphox, are you referring to? Is this something you want like to be a tournament standard, or are you just referring to like casual play?
well in the menu, not even like tournament standard or anything. That was the first thing I was touching on. Is like let's say if you're gonna go the custom variation route, make it to where all the abilities when you go to select them in the creator, whatever the custom creator, like to have a little video clip of the actual move, and maybe even go a little bit more in depth, like show the frame data of the move, show like the properties, mid, attack,
Command
high,
grab.
command grab or whatever, throw and vulnerable, whatever. Like, and then on top of like the whole competitive aspect, I would love it if they made it to where you can do like competitive, like at tournaments, just select your own like abilities and shit. It's just gonna be way too not efficient. It's gonna be non-efficient. You got to sit there and pick out, like, you obviously are gonna know which ones you're gonna want, and maybe even depending on certain matchups, you might want to choose different abilities. Fine, but it's gonna take too long during the during the tournament to even do that. Like, in my opinion, at least. So I feel like what they're gonna end up doing is just gonna have 3 variations and like balancing them, like we were talking about earlier.
I think that's a safer route to go, to do the 3 preset variations and just be very careful with them because
But
they have experience with MKX.
exactly. Now that would be cool though. Like, imagine like you like, oh, I'm gonna go to I'm gonna select Liu Kang. I'm gonna have a bicycle kick, and then I'm gonna have low fireball, and then I'm gonna have like this Liu Kang dragon command grab that they just made. You know.
Yeah, you can't be making the perfect character. Because, see, here's the thing about the beta. This is what I've kind of noticed. The meta right now of the stress test, in a way, which I see so many people doing, is basically every Baraka player is playing Baraka in 2 ways. They're either equipping his gutted move to make him hit like a truck, or they're making mixed Baraka with his command grab and his low kebab, low special, so he becomes a mixed character. That's usually what you're seeing with Baraka. With Skarlet, literally every Skarlet is equipping either the
Spy
a siphon restand, because why not? You get offense after it. You double as a zoner, and now you have chances to do grabs and offense. So they're equipping the restand and they're equipping the teleport and stuff like that. And then you have every Scorpion player equipping the misery blades, because why wouldn't you not do that? So the thing is, if they do decide to make the game based on custom variations, they need to be very careful with how they make each move that you're able to select, because you don't want the game to boil down to, oh, well, if you're playing Cabal, why are you not using his ultimate S tier loadout, which is this all the time, and then you have his backup loadout for the matchups where it doesn't work, and that's it.
But do you seriously think that would allow? I know a lot of people on social media and test your might want, customizable. Yeah, we want that. Dude, if you did that, like, how am I supposed to know what moves you're picking? Like, so I'm gonna go in the tournament. I'm gonna waste my money. I'm gonna fight Rio, who I assume is picking the best version of Cabal. But how do I know he's not adding in that extra one move that I don't know even he has? It would turn the game into a complete joke. Like, it would be. It would be
Yeah,
a party. It would be a
they would
party
have to
game.
add something. They would have to add, like, you know how Street Fighter 4, you get to choose a character version you want, like on the character select, you get to choose like which version you want of the character.
Yeah.
They would have to add something like that to the character select screen, where you click, like, let's say I choose Skarlet, and then after I choose Skarlet, I get to choose my moves from there in front of you. That's what they would have to do. They'll have to make something like that if they wanted to be like that. Because nobody wants to wait, see somebody go to the customize option mode, do it, and then give their have player 2 do that, and then have to wait for that, and then have everybody do that. It would take too much time. It needs to be all there on the screen for them to do, and you need to be able to see what they're doing also.
I know, but even Street Fighter is limited to V trigger, and people are speculating there might be the secondary V skill
Yeah.
coming up. It's very one thing at a time. It's 2 things at most, maybe.
Yeah, whereas this is, you're literally making a character
exactly.
with
I'm not
different
gonna
specials,
again. It's
different
just
normals.
and they have
Maybe there'll be some new fatal blows down the line that you can equip.
exactly, and it just wouldn't make any sense in a competitive environment for this to go on. Now, if you're talking about maybe you can add an extra move or 2, and it's visually displayed on the screen, that's something different. But
Yeah.
I just don't think a lot of people want is this, oh yeah, I get to pick the best moves. Again, it just doesn't work. Like, how would it work?
Can I ask
It's-
another question?
Go
I
ahead.
think
I mean, just I mean to interrupt you, Rio. Let's consider this. We're considering this based on, and I don't think it's feasible. So I think
I don't
even
think so it
discuss
is either. Yeah.
Think about this. We're talking about one character. What if somebody has 10 characters that they can choose from? I might want to use one of these 10 in this. They would have to.
you got
They
to
would have to
customize them all, have them
customize
ready for the
all
for the
10
matches.
characters before their match. So in case they want to switch. Otherwise, if they decide mid-set I want to switch, put the tournament on pause. Switch it. So it's not even feasible. Clearly, NetherRealm knows this. Clearly, they understand this. Clearly, there's going to be 3 default tournament variations. I think the main concern we have is we just want to know what they are.
Tom,
At the same token, they're probably not ready yet. That's why they don't want to
did
show it.
MKX? I mean, I don't know. I don't really expect anybody to remember, but did MKX at this moment, was it already clear, more or less, what the variations are going to be? Again, not necessarily what moves. I don't care about that. I'm talking about just the system. Was it already clear? Was it already set in place?
Yes, but there was no custom anything until Injustice 2. So that added a new wrinkle to it. So in MKX, outside of War God Kotal Khan getting faster moves than the John Edwards ground pound, which he didn't even have that move for until like the last like day we're there, and John Edwards was like, "Hey, I had some animation. You got to like." So besides that, the variations are all whatever, but there was no custom. Again, I just think that, like I said, there's no way it's going to be custom variations. Now they may not know. They may sit there and say, "Look, we don't have to make a decision today." So from the design standpoint, I think we all agree. We don't want anyone in development to make a decision on a day they don't have to make one. Take as much time as they need to think things through, etc. So I think what they're doing is beneficial to the game and something we all want. I think we just want to find out before April 23rd, what are the variations and how are they.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. Did we lose Tom?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
The whole custom variation things, I think that could work for online tournaments because when you're online playing with people, you would have all your stuff preset, loaded into your character
Yeah.
profile, so you could just go online and play. But for offline tournaments, it's different because it would be be hard to regulate. But if there's like online tournaments and like online majors and stuff become a thing in the future, then they could definitely do a bunch of every online tournament could be custom variations because it wouldn't be an issue. There would be no timing restraints on that.
But the thing is, we're gonna have somebody like Dap throwing out a fit about, you want all the moves to be usable. Why aren't they have the move usable? This game is boring. Like he's gonna go on that rant again. I don't necessarily. I'm not saying I disagree. Agree with him, but I'm hoping that because he was right in the respect that a lot of the cool moves were just left out, never to be used ever, like never to be seen. And I'm kind of hoping that a lot of the cool moves. I understand it's hard to balance, and nobody's going to blow him up for this. At least not me. But it's kind of like a shame that a lot of the cool moves that we saw, like in Justice 2, obviously the gear moves, they were never seen ever.
This is why I hope NRS tries to incorporate as many specials as they can into each of these 3 variations, so they have as much as them as
I know,
they
but
put
it's
in.
hard. It's hard on the balance, though. It's really, really
Yeah,
difficult.
it's very hard because you have to be careful with what you give. You don't want to have a HQ10 Predator situation where why would you play Warrior and Hunter over HQ10 ever? You don't want characters like that. But MKX, like the whole 3 variation system, they had some characters that were designed very well with it. Like, you had characters like Devora, Takeda, and so on, that they had 3 viable, good variations that you could switch between. I'm confident that they could do it for this game. I think it'd be easier for them to balance it if they went with the 3 preset variation for this game, because they have experience with MKX. They just have to be very careful with which moves that they decide to combine.
Like,
Yeah, that
I
makes sense.
I feel like they should just go 2 variations, because like if you look at Baraka, let's just say like, those were the preset variations for like the final build. Like, what's the point? That flag variation is completely useless from from what I've seen. Like, why would you ever use it? Like, it's like the same thing with Pretty Lady. Like, there's no point in having it in the game. Like, custom variation or just having variations in general. Like, there's always to be like, why not use that Powerhouse Cabal or like that 90% damage Cyrax? There's no point. So like honestly, either like don't honestly just don't do custom variation at all, and just go back to variations. But I think 2 is like the perfect number because what are the 20 characters? 20 times 3, what's that, like 670? Like, I mean, 82, I don't know. That's a ridiculous amount of numbers, a ridiculous amount of variations for you to like make all equally like viable. It's just unreasonable. It's not going to happen. So there's no point adding these extra variations that are never going to see the light of day, especially in tournament.
Yeah, the less variables they have, the easier it's gonna be to balance.
And then you
But
will
yeah, it's gonna
actually
be
see those
tricky.
extra characters. If
Yeah, it's
you
gonna
do
be
that.
tricky what we see happen.
You
In
could,
terms of this game, though, it's a really good game. I mean, there's only like one gripe I have out of the entire game, and it's a weird gripe because people are gonna be like, "Really, Rio? You're complaining about this?" Here's the thing: this game is advertised to be a neutral game, right? Whatever. That's kind of what NRS is going for. They're going for the whole, neutral, walking back and forth. I remember reading this interview with Evun where he said, "Oh, they're gonna make this game based around the whole walking and neutral aspect." If that's the case, and keep in mind, I'm not saying this move is overpowered or broken. It may very well be that this move sucks. But Scorpion's teleport is a fuck neutral tool. It's a fuck neutral. It's a tracking mid launcher that you kind of have to guess to punish on block. It's a tracking mid launcher that you can do at any time, and your opponent has to sit there preemptively blocking most of the time. You can do a lot of stuff. You can jump around, you can jump at the opponent, teleport. You could do a teleport randomly. It kind of defeats the whole purpose that the whole direction aim that they're going for. I'm not saying it's overpowered or not. Only reason I'm bringing up is because Fenris is trying to make this game into this neutral, walking, like paced game. Something like a mid tracking launching teleport is something that should probably be looked at.
well, I mean, I was gonna make that argument because some people already think. Obviously, I can make the argument because it's not politically correct to make because of idiots like Crimson and Hippo. Because obviously, I'm complaining about zoning, anti-zoning, even though I'm fucking using Baraka in the beta. But when I played Tom, I kind of did notice it. It's kind of like you have to hold block. It's almost like I
Dude,
guess like a Freddy Spike or like a Martial Man.
It's like literally, it's like Black Adam's Black Magic.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're playing
exactly.
neutral, and it's like gotta randomly block, gotta randomly.
Yeah.
Like you're not really. It's like you play Scorpion, and the move is so good and random that you have to sit there and concede neutral and give it up and randomly block most of the time, and they may not even do it. That's the threat of it. So good.
Yeah, yeah, I
It's like, am
understand
I
what
trying to
you're
play
saying, yeah.
neutral, or am I playing let me randomly block here like I'm playing every other MK NRS game? Like, are they trying to change the direction here, or do they want it just to play like any other game?
But-
Because if that's the case, I don't think they should have said that stuff. Because like I said, I wouldn't be bringing this up. I don't think the move's overpowered. I don't think it's broken. It's just a fuck neutral attack, which kind of is. That's why I'm bringing it up. Like, why is that something like that in the game?
Remember
If this
that
game's supposed to be based
Supergirl's
around
teleport
neutral.
was like that too in the early.
Yeah, but
Injustice
this
2
move is
beta.
better than Supergirl's teleport because it's a mid
I know,
and it's a mix up
And
to
it's
punish
really-
on block.
It's a lot more faster too.
Yeah,
yeah, no, I
and it
know,
hits
I
you
know,
at
but
it, dude. It has a
that's-
huge hitbox.
Yeah, I understand your point, but
That's all I'm gonna say. But if this game is gonna get like I don't know, maybe half the cast is gonna have a bunch of fuck neutral moves. Like maybe Sector will be doing his tracking mid launcher, and then you'll have other characters doing shit that you just have to sit there and block randomly because they may do it. I just think something like that should be looked at.
Well, I use Scorpion quite a bit over the weekend. Obviously, I smell like pure Ryu trash. I'll have to shower after this, being drenched in yellow. But I hate, in general, I think we all hate this, a move that's unsafe. What's like, you didn't punish it because, oh man, you got to guess one hit or two. Or the guard stun is different from certain ranges. I think if a move is meant to be punished, it's meant to be punished. You already made the initial guess by blocking it. I should not have to guess a second time.
You completely conceded neutral. Like you have to sit there and block.
I conceded neutral to block it. Imagine how whatever you conceded neutral, blocked it. You go to punish it, and it's like, oh, the meter burn came out. Get F. It's like,
And then you go to wait and wait for the meter burn. They don't meter burn, so you missed the punish on the regular
Yeah.
teleport.
so.
And then you get down to crushing blow.
It's sloppy design. It reeks of Firestorm's low what's it called, lava blast, where you have to guess the meter burn punishment for
Old
many
trap.
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you sit there and you try to punish the meter burn, he doesn't do it. You miss the punish, and so on. I think something like that should not be in this game if they're trying to change the whole direction that they want this game to go. They need to look at moves like that.
Yeah. Also, Bdon is back. So after Zyphox weighs in on this, let Bdon weigh in on this and weigh in on that damn stage that Bdon brought up with. So you can't crucify me for it, people. Good.
Wait, what?
Tom, don't worry
Wait.
about that, man.
Talking
Tom,
about
I'm just
corner interactables?
the biggest hater in the game. Let Zyphox go ahead. Zyphox, what is your Twitch? What is Aaron Black? Oh,
What?
is that Aaron Black on your fucking Discord?
That's McCree, brother. Don't ever disrespect
That's a different game.
I was just making sure. What game is that from?
Overwatch.
Overwatch.
but hopefully
Thank God. Thank God.
Hopefully Zyphox, Tom. Hopefully Zyphox. Dude, Tom, you know I got your back, man, because you've always had mine. Just real quick before Zyphox goes, I gotta do the Fool of the Week segment. I'm reading of again Crimson Shadow. This moronic. It's not about the way he's an administrator to test your my forums. I have no issue with the way he mods. It's not about that. He is constantly shitting on me, shitting on Tom, shitting on Playing to Win. One of his posts he said, "Oh, Sonic Fox is allowed to say whatever he wants, because he's winning and etc." Like the nonsense. He's constantly sucking his ass, and he is my Fool of the Week. He's throwing shade at the podcast because I don't know. Again, never once did Tom call out any of them on this podcast ever. Like we never said anything about Hippo. We never said anything about Crimson. Certainly never said anything about Slips. But they're constantly like jabbing us like in the face on the forums, on their podcasts. I don't know why they're talking shit. We never said they're bad players. We never said they're bad people. But they're constantly, these complainers. And that's what Tom, by the way, is referring to when he.
Yeah,
I was laughing when he was saying like Hippo is literally salivating.
we're at the very moment we're streaming and praising the game and 500, 800, 900 viewers on our streams, and we're praising the game and we're explaining the game to people and being great ambassadors for the game. And Ed Boon is tweeting, "Hey, check out Tom Brady's stream." Shout outs, Ed. Thanks so much for that, by the way. And the whole point is, here I am. People always say, rebrand yourself. Rebrand yourself. Be a positive force. What more can I do? I was as positive as possible. Streamed this game to the point that my hands hurt. It's 35 straight hours of playing between my stream and UA back and forth. And that was before today. Yesterday I was at like almost 40 hours straight. And as positive as I was, you still have to take a shot at me. What more can I do? I mean, if you don't want me in the community, don't hide behind it. Just make a thread and say, we just want Tom to leave and never come back like he's Smeagol.
Yo.
Right? Just say that. Because it makes it very hard for me to be a positive content when you constantly keep the narrative out there. Don't listen to us. We're this, we're that. And we try to send a positive message when we stream, but you make sure all people want to hear is a negative one. I just want to say, for me personally, in this game, I think it's a phenomenal game. And I love it. I think it's a great game. I think everybody should pick it up. The reason why we may seem that we're quote unquote negative, we're not negative at all. But there's so many great things about the game we have praised several weeks in a row. We're only bringing these concerns up because of how much we love the game and how good we know it can be and we want it to be. So we bring up these concerns because all the good stuff in the game, we have 2 years to talk about all the great things about Mortal Kombat. And there are a lot of things that are great. What we don't have are 2 years to get this right from the start. And that's why we do this. So go ahead.
And I just also want to add that again, he made this post he used Sonic Fox as an example for maturity and professionalism. I was literally laughing my ass off. Like, really, that's who you use? And I don't want to talk about some of the stuff that he was doing on Twitter that's entirely unprofessional and definitely not mature. But again, and I used to criticize Tom for this, but again, I look at that post and I see 25 damn test your might scrubs liking it. Why? It's just unbelievable to me. Like, and again, it was a clear jab at you. I've watched all your, all your Brady cats, and I haven't seen anything like even remotely controversial. So again, that's why I have to pick Crimson as a fool of the week once again with this fucking garbage. Just
It would be nice if we could pull the silly drama that like behind us and just play MK11 because it's such a good game. It has so much potential. I think it's gonna be great. A lot of people are gonna like it. I think there's gonna be so many people playing this game. Like I'm gonna predict there's gonna be over 2,000 people at Evo for this game. It's gonna be
man.
huge. The
2,000.
netcode. This is the first MK game ever where we're gonna have GGPO day one. So all the people that get drawn to it and play it don't leave and lose interest because the online is so frustrating.
well, we do know that the numbers have been climbing for the game. I'm talking about Evo registration. I don't know where it's at right now. I don't think we've seen an update in a month at least. But I think it was like 8th, then it climbed down to all the way up to 4th, behind Smash, Tekken, Street Fighter. But I'm sure it's just gonna keep on rising. So, well, Tom Brady, he's just signed out. But if Rio doesn't mind, I'm gonna sign us out here too. I do want to keep it
Yeah.
positive and say that also my hero of the week is 16-bit. He'll know why. And unless anybody else has anything to say, I'm gonna say thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you for supporting the podcast, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.